Buckle up, because something exciting just rolled into the off-road world. Imagine the legendary toughness of a Land Cruiser, but in a smaller, more affordable, and more city-friendly package. That's exactly what the 2026 Toyota Mini Land Cruiser FJ is bringing to the table, and honestly, it might be one of the most interesting SUVs Toyota has launched in years. If you've ever loved the idea of owning a Land Cruiser, but didn't want the huge size or the huge price tag, this might be the vehicle that finally makes sense. Today we're taking a full walk around of the 2026 Toyota Mini Land Cruiser FJ. We're starting from the back, then moving along the left side, the right side, stepping inside the interior, checking out the engine and performance, talking about expected pricing, and finally giving you the real verdict. And of course, along the way, we'll see how this compact off-road machine compares with popular rivals like the Ford Bronco and Jeep Wrangler. So let's start at the back, because the rear design of the 2026 Toyota Mini Land Cruiser FJ instantly reminds you that this SUV has real heritage. The moment you see it, you can tell Toyota wasn't trying to make another soft city crossover. Instead, they went with a rugged, honest design that feels purpose-built for adventure. The tailgate swings open sideways rather than lifting upward, which is a classic off-road feature and something longtime Land Cruiser fans will immediately appreciate. It's practical too, especially when you're loading gear on uneven ground during a camping trip. Mounted proudly on the rear door is a full-size spare tire. No, it's not just there for style. This is a real trail-ready setup. Exactly what you want when exploring remote areas where a puncture could otherwise ruin your trip. The rear bumper looks thick and durable, designed to take hits from rocks, gravel, and rough trails without feeling fragile. Slim LED taillights wrap around the corners, giving the SUV a modern appearance while still maintaining that classic rugged vibe. The rear glass is wide and upright, which improves visibility and keeps the design functional rather than flashy. When you compare the rear of the Mini Land Cruiser FJ to something like the Ford Bronco Sport, this Toyota feels more authentic. It looks like a vehicle that actually wants to leave the pavement behind. But here's a question for you. If you were planning a serious off-road trip, would you trust the Ford Bronco, the Jeep Wrangler, or the new Mini Land Cruiser FJ? Drop your choice in the comments because I'm really curious what you think. Now moving around to the left side of the SUV, this is where the boxy personality really stands out. The 2026 Toyota Mini Land Cruiser FJ doesn't try to be sleek or sporty like most modern SUVs. Instead, it proudly embraces that squared-off, upright design that off-road vehicles are known for. The wheel arches are wide and muscular, wrapping around chunky all-terrain tires that look ready to tackle dirt, rocks, and snow without hesitation. The ride height is noticeably taller than most compact SUVs, giving drivers that commanding view of the road and trail ahead. Roof rails come standard on many trims, which means you can easily mount extra gear like bikes, rooftop tents, cargo, boxes, or even kayaks. That's something adventure lovers are going to appreciate. The doors feel thick and durable, with protective cladding running along the lower body to protect against rocks and debris. It's a small detail, but it shows Toyota designed this SUV for real outdoor use. Compared with the Jeep Wrangler, the Mini Land Cruiser FJ looks slightly more refined, while still keeping that rugged personality. And compared with something like the Land Rover Defender, it feels more compact and approachable for daily driving. Now let's continue walking around. To the right side of the vehicle, the stance here remains wide and confident, which gives the SUV a planted look whether it's parked in the driveway or climbing over a rocky trail. Subtle character lines run from the front fender all the way to the rear, adding depth to the body without making the design overly complicated. Toyota clearly wanted to keep the look simple and timeless. One thing that really stands out is the optional two-tone paint scheme. The contrasting roof color, the Mini Land Cruiser FJ can look surprisingly stylish while still staying true to its retro roots. The side mirrors are large and square, prioritizing visibility instead of just aesthetics. For off-road driving, that extra visibility can make a huge difference when navigating tight trails or obstacles. Ground clearance is generous too, meaning you can tackle steep driveways, rough trails, and even shallow water crossings with confidence. Now let me ask you something. Would you prefer this smaller mini Land Cruiser FJ, or would you still choose the big full-size Land Cruiser even if it costs a lot more? That's actually a tough decision. Alright, now it's time to step inside. Because the interior of the 2026 Toyota Mini Land Cruiser FJ is where rugged durability meets modern comfort. The moment you climb into the cabin, you notice the upright dashboard design. Everything feels solid and practical, with textured materials, chunky controls, and metallic accents that give the interior an industrial yet premium vibe. Right in the center sits a large touchscreen display that handles navigation, media, off-road data, and vehicle settings. Sharp, responsive, and easy to use. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto come standard, so connecting your phone takes seconds without needing cables. Behind the steering wheel, the digital instrument cluster can show a wide range of information. You can monitor speed, fuel economy, navigation directions, or even off-road data like pitch and roll angles when tackling difficult terrain. The seats are designed for both comfort and durability. They're supportive enough for long highway drives, but also built with materials that can handle mud, sand, and rain without falling apart. The driving position is high and commanding, which gives you that classic off-road SUV feeling. In the back seats, there's actually impressive legroom for a compact vehicle. Passengers won't feel cramped during road trips, and the rear seats fold flat to create a practical cargo area for camping gear, luggage, or everyday shopping. Storage space is everywhere too. You'll find door pockets, under-seat storage trays, and a large center console for extra items. There are also modern touches like ambient lighting, USB-C charging ports, a wireless charging pad, and an optional JBL premium sound system. Visibility is another strong point. The large windshield and tall windows make it easier to navigate both city streets and tight off-road paths. An available panoramic sunroof brings in natural light and makes the cabin feel more open and airy. Compared with the Jeep Wrangler, the Mini Land Cruiser FJ interior feels more modern and refined. Compared with the Ford Bronco, the layout feels simpler and easier to use. Now let's talk about performance, because what's under the hood matters just as much as the design. The 2026 Toyota Mini Land Cruiser FJ is expected to offer two main powertrain options. The first option is a turbocharged four-cylinder engine producing around 270 horsepower and about 320 pound-feet of torque. That's plenty of power for highway driving and serious off-road work. The second option is the hybrid version, which pairs that turbo engine with an electric motor. Combined output is expected to be close to 300 horsepower. The hybrid system also delivers instant torque, which is incredibly useful for climbing steep hills, crawling over rocks, or accelerating quickly on the highway. Both versions come with Toyota's proven four-wheel drive system and multiple terrain modes, including sand, mud, rock, and snow. The Mini Land Cruiser FJ also uses body and frame construction, the same tough architecture found in larger Land Cruiser models. That means this SUV is built for real durability rather than just appearance. The suspension is tuned to balance comfort and toughness, absorbing bumps on rough trails while remaining stable on highways. Fuel economy is expected to be impressive too. The hybrid version could deliver close to 28 miles per gallon combined, while the gasoline model may average around 22 miles per gallon. Both engines are paired with a smooth 8-speed automatic transmission. Now let's talk about price, because this is where things get really interesting. The starting price for the 2026 Toyota Mini Land Cruiser FJ is expected to land somewhere in the mid-$30,000 range, higher trims with hybrid power, upgraded off-road packages, and premium features could push the price closer to $50,000. Even at that level, it still undercuts many versions of the Ford Bronco, Jeep Wrangler, and Land Rover Defender when equipped with similar features. Toyota is clearly aiming this SUV at younger buyers, adventure enthusiasts, families who want Land Cruiser reliability without paying full Land Cruiser prices. And that brings us to the final verdict. The 2026 Toyota Mini Land Cruiser FJ isn't just a smaller version of a famous nameplate. It's a smart, modern interpretation of what a compact off-road SUV should be. It offers rugged styling, real off-road capability, modern technology, impressive efficiency, and everyday practicality. Compared with the Bronco and Wrangler, it feels more refined and potentially more reliable for long-term ownership. Compared with regular crossover SUVs, it delivers genuine off-road credibility that those vehicles simply can't match. Toyota didn't build this just to look adventurous, they built it to actually be adventurous. And honestly, that's what makes this SUV so exciting. So now I want to hear from you. Would you buy the 2026 Toyota Mini Land Cruiser FJ, or would you still choose the Bronco or Wrangler instead? If you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow the Car Review Hub for more deep dives, honest car reviews, and the latest automotive news. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.